The last thing my dad said before hanging up was, "You're not my responsibility anymore." Then he used the money my late mother left behind to buy his new wife's daughter a luxury car. For years, I watched from a distance as he gave them everything. The house, the vacations, the college fund, the life that was supposed to be mine. Meanwhile, I worked night shifts just to keep my lights on. But 10 years later, my father showed up at my office asking for a job. His new family was broke. Their money was gone. And the daughter he chose over me was living back at home. The look on his face when he realized I owned the company was something I'll never forget. My name is Emily Carter. I am 33 years old, and I live in Seattle, Washington, USA. My parents divorced when I was 12. A year later, my dad married a woman named Rebecca. She had a daughter, Madison, who was almost my age. At first, I thought we'd become a blended family. Instead, I became an outsider. Dad slowly stopped showing up for my birthdays, missed school events, forgot important milestones. But somehow, he never missed Madison's. Every soccer game, every graduation, every celebration. He was always there for her. The real betrayal happened after my grandmother passed away. She left money intended for my future education. Nothing life-changing, but enough to help me attend college without massive debt. A few months later, Dad told me the money was gone. According to him, there were family needs. Years later, I learned those family needs included Madison's private school tuition and a brand new SUV. By 18, I realized nobody was coming to save me. I worked at a diner during the day and studied at night. While Madison posted vacation photos from Europe, I worried about rent. While Dad bragged about her achievements online, he rarely called me. Eventually, I stopped expecting him to. After college, I started working in digital marketing. The pay wasn't great, but I was determined. I took freelance projects after work. Weekends, holidays, any opportunity I could find. 3 years later, I launched my own agency. The first year was rough. The second year was better. By the 5th year, we were generating millions in annual revenue. Meanwhile, Dad's life looked perfect. Big house, luxury cars, expensive vacations, at least from the outside. What I didn't know was that most of it was built on debt. Rebecca loved spending money. Madison jumped from one failed business idea to another. And Dad kept paying the bills. Until he couldn't anymore. The collapse happened fast. The housing market shifted. Several investments failed. Credit card debt exploded. Within 2 years, they lost almost everything. The house was sold. Savings disappeared. Retirement accounts were drained. For the first time in decades, Dad needed help. One afternoon, my assistant told me someone was asking to see me. When I looked through the office window, I froze. It was my father. Older. Tired. Nervous. He looked nothing like the confident man who once told me I wasn't his responsibility. We sat down in a conference room. For a few minutes, he made small talk. Then he finally admitted why he came. He needed a job. Any job. He'd heard my company was growing and hoped I could help. The irony wasn't lost on either of us. Then came the question I'd waited years to ask. Where's Madison? He looked down. Her latest business had failed. The one he'd invested heavily in. The one he'd insisted would make her successful. Instead, it helped wipe out what little money they had left. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then Dad quietly apologized. Not just for the money. Not just for choosing favorites. For all of it. The missed birthdays. The broken promises. The years of silence. Everything. I wish I could say that apology erased the pain. It didn't. Some wounds don't disappear that easily. But I also wasn't interested in revenge. Life had already delivered its own lesson. The family he chose over me had cost him almost everything. I offered him a position, not because he deserved it, because I wanted peace more than bitterness. The role wasn't glamorous, but it was honest work. He accepted immediately. Today, my company continues to grow. I have a beautiful home, financial security, and a life I built myself. Dad and I speak occasionally. Our relationship is better than it was, but it will never be what it could have been. Some opportunities only come once. Looking back, the biggest surprise wasn't becoming a millionaire. It wasn't watching the people who ignored me lose everything. It was realizing that success is the best response to being underestimated. Because when my dad chose his new family over me, he thought he was leaving one daughter behind. What he didn't realize was that the daughter he abandoned would become the one person capable of helping him when everything fell apart.